Welcome to another episode of Tyrone Paulson Drives, and in today's episode, well, it's a bit of a full circle moment for me, because you see, back in 2025, I had the privilege of being the MC at the launch of the car that I'm reviewing here today in Cape Town. It was big stages, lights, fancy people, you know the vibe, right? But here's the thing, up until they unveiled the car, I hadn't seen it at all. And after that night, I never really got up close to it, never drove it, nothing. So today is actually my very first proper experience with the car and the Hardy-Dars. Meet the all-new Audi A5 in Quattro Black Edition spec. Now this isn't just a new A5, this is a completely new generation Audi built on a new platform with a new design language and new tech that hasn't really been seen in, any other Audi before. And here's the big one though. This car actually replaces both the A4 and the A6. So essentially, this A5 now sits right in the middle, blending both. Audi basically said, why have two where we can give you one that does both? Okay, let's just talk about the design. And in this Daytona gray pearl color, it doesn't scream, but it definitely gets attention. And being the black edition, you get things like the blacked out grille, the blacked out badging, all the dark trim bits on it. You get these 20-inch wheels, which are all part of a optional extra pack, and the blacked out mirrors and everything else. It just works really well together. Now, the overall design is, a bit more aggressive, a bit more planted, and slightly more coupe-like than before. It feels like Audi leaned into that sporty e-tron look they have. I mean, just look at it. It's nice, bro. So, I know what you really want to know. So let's talk power. Now, in South Africa, the new A5 range is quite straightforward. There are only two models in two different states of trim. There's the S-Line, and then there's the Black Edition, and both come with the same 2-liter turbocharged petrol engine. Depending on the drivetrain option that you choose. You see, basically the S-Line and the Black Edition both produce 146 kilowatts and 340 Newton meters of torque. And that's just a standard, and it sends all the power to the front wheels. But if you choose the Quattro versions, they both offer 200 kilowatts and 400 Newton meters of torque. Now, the front-wheel drive model 0 to 100 kilometers an hour is claimed at plus minus 7 seconds, and the Quattro models, like this one, is around 6.1 seconds. So this one is properly quick, without being intimidating. Now, talk about intimidating. Let's check out the inside. Step inside and this is where things have changed big time. The cabin is, completely new. You get, these completely new redesigned front seats that you get, even in the rear, it's brilliant. And these are heated and cooled, but it is an option, of course. Then there's this new clean, minimal layout that they got with this curved, almost skateboard-sized screen, which houses 2 of the 4 displays that you get access to. Now, the latter is also an optional extra, and it all forms part of what they call the Tech Pro package, which means this car is going to be fully loaded. It gets, for example, screen number 3, which is a heads-up display. It's in color and it's brilliant, as well as your passengers now get, this screen, as you can see here. Apparently it's a thing now. Also, this car has the Ambient Pro lighting package, which gives the car that extra kind of modern glow that everybody now kind of seems to like. And I know it's normal because most cars nowadays kind of have it, but this one is so cool that it adds an additional strip here in the dash so that when you indicate, it lights up. I mean, it's on both sides. That's brilliant. Plus, you get access to wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You get multiple USB ports. You get ergonomically designed cup holders. You get a heated steering wheel. You got decent cubby space. And they've even moved the actual physical light controls and stuff into the door handles, which looks brilliant. I think most cars should do this. And then this new user interface. It's a bit difficult to grasp initially, but once you get it, it's actually brilliant because it's now Android driven. Now, Audi, in my opinion, was always kind of playing second fiddle to some of its rivals. But this, right now, it's brilliant. This just really works. They've stepped their game up. I mean, like, for example, simple things like your climate controls is permanently available here. And it's so smart that it now has this three auto type of levels. You choose one, you press it, and it does it for you. And then in the driver display, it now mirrors things that happens on your phone. Now, I know other cars do it as well. But for me, that use Waze, in some cars, when you use Waze, it doesn't show up here. In here, it's in there all the time, which means now you can have something else going on your screen while still being able to see your maps. But my favorite feature is this panoramic sunroof, because with a simple press of a button, you can go from, well, complete sunlight to, well, this. You close it up. It's like a whole spy system. It goes into privacy mode. It just auto dims and it closes. It's brilliant. It's like having your own spy room secret meeting thing. It's like Audi also said, we're not doing sun blinds anymore. We're doing technology. I mean, like, this is brilliant. And you can have it in different states of configuration. That's so quiet. Oh, and then there's the Bang & Olufsen 3D sound system. Now, it's got speakers built into the headrest, and I know some other cars do it as well, but this whole system, the way it does it, is just so good. It's so immersive. It's brilliant. It's literally like the music is right in your space. It's perfect for those late night drives and those traffic therapy sessions. Let's talk about the real stuff, like right here in the cabin. The front space itself, it is excellent. I think this is a brilliant setup. You find your driving position very, very easily. And the controls, the steering, it's great. I love this new design. I mean, yes, it still has those haptic touch controls here, but it's brilliant. But the rest, the way everything just works, it really is good. I wonder what it's like in the back. Well, here in the rear, it's surprisingly spacious for a car with a sloping roofline. I mean, this seat is at its lowest position, and I still got, well, nice knee room, and I can put my feet underneath. Yeah, headroom is a little bit, like, compromised. The only other issue is this high transmission up, which means you can't really put a grown-up in the middle. So it's best suited possibly for two. Plus, there's ISOFIX car points, so you can put a baby seat in here if you want to. But whoever's going to be in the back here will be comfortable, will be okay, because it's got two USB ports, it's got air vent controls, and you can control your own temperature. Plus, the seats are heated, as I mentioned. So yeah, whoever's going to sit here at the back should be very comfortable. So, what's the boot like, you may ask? Now, because of that sloping roofline, you might think it's going to be, well, kind of tight, but it offers about 445 liters of space. But if I look at it, it's, well, a lot bigger. I mean, I really don't know how they measure this in liters, because nobody fills this thing with water, right? So whether it's airport runs, schools, or weekend trips, or just your Woolies bags, you're sorted. Oh, and this, because it's electronically controlled, it's easy. Plus, you also get an optional, well, pop-out tow bar like this one. So no matter what it is that you're going to be doing, you're kind of sorted. Okay, right here, driving this car, it's classic Audi, but improved. And I know this is going to sound a bit cliche, but it feels very comfortable in its comfort mode and, well, sharpened up when you put it in dynamic mode. And with this 20-inch wheels, it's brilliant as well. I mean, you always feel like you're connected to the road. Yes, it feels a little bit hard at times because of its size, but you can tweak its suspension with this adaptive dampers and stuff that this car comes with, which I really like because you can actually feel the difference in every mode. A lot of other cars, it just makes a bit more noise. But this, you can actually feel the difference when you use it. The overall suspension setup is brilliant. It gives you that smooth ride for, well, daily driving and cruising, and enough stiffness if you want to, well, have a little bit of fun. And then the Quattro system, it is absolutely brilliant. It gives you enough confidence, especially in Cape Town with its ever-changing, unpredictable weather conditions. Now, the 2-liter turbo petrol engine that's in here, it is smooth and refined. It is brilliant, actually. But however, it just lacks a little bit of drama. It's very refined. I mean, this car, it looks the part. It looks amazing with its low stance and its twin exhaust pipes, but there's no verpa. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what you want. And yes, there is a little bit of noise when you put it in its sports and its dynamic mode, but it's not what you actually expect. And I know that this is not a sports sedan, but with 200 kilowatts and 400 Newton meters on tap, you kind of want something, some visceral madness. And yes, in its defense, in its normal driving mode, it's quick. Put it in dynamic, and it's even a little bit quicker. But there's no real drama that goes along with it, man. It just does whatever it needs to do, with no drama. The one thing that I don't really like on this car, and it's kind of weird, it's like when you are taking off and you want to accelerate, there's almost like a little bit of a delay in it. But, if you get launch control to work and you're in sports mode, and then it's a completely different beast. But I think this car, the whole point is about driving this car with refinement, and everything is smooth and the way it delivers. I mean, Audi has promised that there is an RS5 coming out, and that's definitely going to bring all the drama. So we'll wait for that. Now, Audi claims a fuel consumption figure of 8.1 liters per 100 kilometers, and I've been averaging between 8.9 and about 9.5 all the time, which is not bad at all for a car with this amount of power. But combined with all the tech and the safety features and everything that goes in here, this gives you enough confidence to, well, just drive it comfortably and enjoy it. Basically, this car is very easy to live with and to drive. It gives you enough confidence to do whatever it is that you want to do. If you want it to be, well, to go fast, it will go fast. It can be dynamic and give you some engaging driving and push it in a corner. But for the everyday guy like me and you, the normal person, this is more than enough. It's very comfortable. It's luxurious, has all the tech, everything that you need from a modern day car. And it looks damn good. Yeah, I think this, well done, Audi. Well done on the new A5. Okay, let's talk money. Now, in South Africa, the S-Line starts at around 1.12 million rand. Then the Black Edition is 1.16 million. And then this Quattro Black Edition hits the 1.28 million rand mark. So yes, they're not cheap. But you are getting a new platform, new tech, and, well, that premium positioning. But the story doesn't end there on the price, because this car has just over 300,000 rands worth of optional extras, which now means it's at the 500,000 rand mark, which now puts it closer to something like a BMW M340i, which has way more power. And similarly, you can get a new C-Class, a diesel, and you can spec it to similar levels, and that will give you, well, better fuel economy for at least about 100,000 rand less. Which also means, for the first time, we now have an Audi that's more expensive than its rivals. And honestly, I don't know how to deal with that. Which kind of then leads me to the question, who is this car for then? Now, in my overstimulated 50-year plus brain, it's for someone who wants premium, but without shouting. A person who wants something that's tech forward, but it's still usable today. Who at the same time wants performance, but also at the same time wants to be chill and wants comfort. It's confusing. Yeah, I know. And yes, you can get all of that from its direct rivals. But for me, the Mercedes is like more for that person that, well, drinks cognac while wearing a suit and tie 24/7. And there's nothing wrong with that. And the BMW is for the, well, I made it in life crowd, and I play paddle and I do high rocks. Again, there's nothing wrong with that either. But this car for me is like the one that sits in between. It can be a little bit of both, like the middle child who, well, silently has been planning and created a Bitcoin revolution. So I think the new Audi A5 is for the A4 buyer that's maybe thinking of upgrading, and for the A6 buyers who's maybe downsizing, or someone who just wants one car that does everything for them, but does not want an SUV like everyone else, but still wants to remain with that premium kind of feeling and wants to be ahead of the game. So yeah, from introducing this car on stage to, well, finally driving it, I kind of get it now. Audi didn't just replace the A4 and the A6, they created something new, something smarter, something, well, for anyone who can afford it. With that, thank you for watching this episode of Tyrone Paulson Drives. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know. What do you think of the new Audi A5? And would you choose this over the BMW or Mercedes? As always, drive safe, stay lekker, and I'll catch you on the next one.